day 1424. One, bruv, 2 day deficit, man. Anywho, so to continue on from the previous video, so I've been in hospital, hours have passed. I was very, very aware that I was gonna, well, I didn't even say, sorry, I should have said in the previous video. So when they brought me in, they brought me into the part where the ambulance crew bring you into, so obviously in A&E, and I'm sure this is the case for a lot of A&Es, but there's normally at least like kind of two sections. So you've got the general admittance part where people just walk in, and then you've got the kind of, not secret, but the kind of side entrance where ambulances will take you if you've come in an ambulance. And the good thing about going in there is if you remain in that area, one, it's kind of more spacious and more comfortable. Two, it's warmer. Three, you will generally, because obviously if you're going in an ambulance, it would deem to be serious. Yeah. Three, you'll generally get dealt with quicker. So I was like, okay, cool. They deemed it to be serious enough to pick me up in an ambulance, and obviously I've been taken into this section, so I was waiting around. I think they took my blood pressure, and then the nonsense began. They kicked me out into the general admittance area, and when this happened, I was like, please, no, please. As a place where I've been far too many times and I care to count, it's uncomfortable, that the chairs are just horrendous to be sitting on, which part of me, I think I might understand the reasoning behind it, although I'm not even sure if this is the reasoning. Like, part of me feels like them not being super comfortable is maybe to dissuade people who might want to come in who have no business being in the hospital and just laying on there and sleeping. But then in the same breath, like, if you're homeless, bruv, like, anything is almost going to be more comfortable than laying on the floor, particularly if it's cold. And also I would add, say 99% of people that come there legitimately need to be there. For people who have ailments ranging from the very minor to quite serious, surely you would want them to be as comfortable as possible. So the chairs are horrible, but also like the doors, man, the big old automatic doors, it's like they just kept them open, and it's really cold, so the cold air was just billowing through, and I was, oh man. And then just the time just elapsed and that's a bag of things I could complain about. I mean, obviously the chairs, which I'm very, well, not that I'm used to, but the chairs I'm very well aware of. The cold, which I have experienced. But also even things like, because of the state I was in, because I was in so much pain, just walking up and down was, one, super slow, and two, painful. So when I was getting taken to other departments, because I had to go for a scan, I ended up going for a scan twice, because the first one didn't pick up on much, or it wasn't clear. So the second one, they had to put like contrast in me, which I'm assuming is some type of dye to maybe highlight things better. Oh, did I mention I vomited as well? I think I did. Maybe I did for the previous day. Yeah, I think I did. But yeah, vomited again a few times when I was in the place. I can normally feel it coming when all of a sudden there's just like extra saliva that starts building up in my mouth. I'm like, oh shoot, I know where this is going. Body prepping itself. Got given painkillers, got given cocodamol, but also, for the first time in my life, got given a bloody suppository. No homo. But you know what, I think that suppository actually worked rather well. Like, it definitely staved off the pain momentarily. It was a bit fun putting it in. When the nurse said, oh yeah, do you want a suppository? She didn't even give me an option. She was like, oh, would you like gloves or not? Because she was not going to be putting that in at all. So yeah, it was a bit new to me, but yeah, took the gloves, took the suppository, took like the I guess KY jelly or some type of jelly, and yeah, it went in, it went in easier than I thought it would be. I thought I was gonna put it in and it would just fly right out, but no, it went in. It wasn't even crazy uncomfortable. Obviously, I guess because of the shape, the way it was designed, but that was new. That was interesting. But yeah. So fast forward. So second scan, what they suspected it was turned out to be that essentially kidney stones, kidney bloody stones. Like I've had pain. Like I've had the issue with my shoulder where extra calcium ended up getting loaded on my rotator cuff. So moving the arm was just a myth. And I had the thing with my knee when my was it bucket handle tear? My meniscus ended up tearing, and I couldn't straighten out the leg. And now this ranks up there, man. This really does, in the same way to the shoulder. Because I remember when I had the shoulder, just relentless pain. It just wouldn't stop. I could when I took things, like the pain got alleviated a bit, but it was just always there. Same with these kidney stones, man. Like they're not going anywhere. And particularly when I hadn't had any painkillers and I was just sitting down there waiting, boy, boy, the discomfort, the pain, and then twinned with sitting on them uncomfortable chairs, sitting in the cold, just waiting for hours on hours on hours on end. But yeah, then I got referred to the urology department, waiting for ages. Eventually my name got called, and yeah, that I got told that they had a bed for me, which I was actually quite looking forward to. Even got told that I may be having an operation to either get them zapped or what's the other thing they said? Putting a stent in. And I had a brief little chat. I think a stent is a thing that you put in and it goes into like the tube, whatever the tubes are, and it kind of expands them so that things can flow through easier. But spoke with the doctor there, and he said, right, so we've got a couple of options. Obviously, we can operate on you, or we can do the more conservative option. Now, I misheard him. I thought he was saying that the more conservative option was the operation. But, I was like, okay, cool, let's go for the more conservative one. And he's like, oh, okay, cool, fine. The more conservative one is basically I get given painkillers, get sent home, and just take lots of fluids, and hopefully it will wash out naturally, which kidney stones do. I know with my shoulder, the calcium on my rotator cuff of the body just reabsorbed the calcium over time. With obviously the kidneys, obviously from my understanding, it doesn't reabsorb them, but they would come through and flush out and pee them out eventually, hopefully. Obviously, if they're too big, then it would need to be operated on. But yeah, it was such a long day. Again, I got to A&E about 9 or 10 p.m. on Sunday. I left A&E a bit before, but I didn't leave the hospital because obviously after A&E I had to go to the urology department, had to wait there, blah, blah, blah. Then they sent me to go to the pharmacy to pick up the medication, which they didn't actually give me painkillers, which I thought was a bit odd. So I had to buy some myself. Also, even though I was prescribed medication from A&E, I still had to pay for it, which I didn't think was the case. Annoying. It begins with T. Telemacin or something like that. Either way, its main function as a drug is for enlarged prostates. Don't think I have one of those, but it also doubles up as a thingy to, again, I think dilate the tubes so kidney stones can pass through easier. Yeah. So I got given that, and then obviously I bought the Cocodamol because I'd already had the Cocodamol at least a couple of times whilst I was there. So I was like, okay, cool, it works, fine. But yeah, I didn't. So again, got to the hospital 9 or 10 p.m. on Sunday. I didn't leave the hospital because I got picked up until after 5 p.m. on Monday. So a nearly 24-hour stint, which is a bit of a record, also quite shambolic. Got a message from the hospital saying, "Oh yes, please feel free to rate your visit." I will be rating the visit, bro. I will be rating it. I will be berating them on certain things, and maybe, bigging them up on some other things. Because again, I think ultimately at the end of the day, I did get. I think the one thing I always try and remind myself to be grateful for is I'm not in America. Now, granted, I may have had a much quicker experience and more successful treatment plan if I was maybe over in the States, but the bill that I would be getting levied with, I'd probably just be like, yo, you see them kidney stones? Right, let me just put them back in, please. So yeah, and even me complaining about paying for the prescription, that's nothing compared to what I'd probably have to pay. In fact, I might even Google after this how much one has to pay for removal of kidney stones and general treatment when you're in the States. Man. But yeah, so it was Sunday and Monday were not fun. And of course it continues because, like I said, opted for the more conservative option. So we're going to try and let the kidney stones come out. One thing I did learn, obviously I did already kind of was aware that with kidney stones, obviously it can be induced because of diet. But as the doctor informed me, which I've come to learn now, it can also be a genetic thing. And when I was speaking with a family member, they did make mention that when they came over to this country many, many moons ago, they actually had kidney stones when they were quite young, which I was not aware of, considering that they love to relay all kinds of stories. Never heard of that. First time I heard of that. I did hear of that. But also, again, coming back to the shoulder thing, like that was additional calcium deposits. And so obviously now this with the kidney stones, which potentially extra calcium deposits, it could be that I maybe just have a propensity for this type of thing. I could very much be prone to developing extra bits of calcium in and around my body, so that's food for thought. Maybe I should have brought that up actually, but I'm due to go back on Thursday, going back in for some blood tests. I'll see how things are. I mean, I'm not even going to talk about today. Yeah, let me just leave this there. I've been yapping enough. So it's day 1420. Bro, hold on. Let me just. Let me actually just get this right. I'm already in 2 days deficit, so I don't want to cock this up again. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, anywho. It's day 1425. I'll catch you very soon for day 1426.